reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMOReporter Network. Hello everybody and welcome to MMOReporter's Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns overview video. So I've been thinking about this game and what I think about the expansion Heart of Thorns, and this whole video came out of a discussion that we had on the MMOReporter podcast the other day. So I was talking about how I wasn't necessarily feeling the vibe as much as other people on the network with Heart of Thorns, and this was Harry Hall's first response.
Whatsoever. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the mastery system. There's room for improvement. I agree, but it's basically the future of MMO progression, and I'm happy with it. I found that the first, I think, 1.5 to 2 hours of the expansion are kind of frustrating because you don't have any of your new travel skills yet, and then Maguma is really a bitch to get through. And especially since most of the mobs are able to kill you, especially the little the tiny dinosaur swarms. They are terrible. But after clever girl. But after you've actually gained flying and then the mushroom jumping, and then all of a sudden it isn't a problem anymore, and you just have to get over the hump. So my question to you, Chris, is how long did you play? Did you get past that point?
So let's go over a few things that Harry talked about. First of all, the mastery system is absolutely fantastic. It's really a great way to progress your character without necessarily having to add more levels. This is the epitome of side grades instead of upgrades, and I really enjoyed that as well. There are a few aspects of it that are somewhat grindy, especially at launch, but they fixed that really, really quickly, which I have to commend them for. But overall, the mastery system is a really great addition to the game. It adds some great functionality to the new content and new ways to explore the game, as well as going back and adding some stuff to the original game as well. So the mastery system is pretty fantastic. And I did explore the world enough that I was able to open up the bouncing mushrooms and the flying and stuff like that. But I still find, even then, going around and doing anything in a group that's less than a Zerg is not very rewarding. I die way more often than I survive a run, even just to catch up to a train that's going around a zone. And that is incredibly frustrating for me. I just don't enjoy that. I want to be able to, okay, I'm going to do vistas right now, so I'm going to run around and be able to get vistas like I used to be able to in Old World Tyria. I didn't have any problems with that. That was fun for me. I can't do that here. And so Bill thought that he had the answer. Maybe I just wasn't approaching the game the right way, and this is what he had to say.
The secret is, because I actually had the same issue until I found the secret to life, the universe, and everything, and that is the LFG tool. If you're logging in at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and the maps are starting to seem dead and that kind of thing, if you open up the LFG tool and look for groups that are advertising taxis for any of the Maguma events, you will instantly be dumped into a very populated zone with very busy groups and very busy events. And that will solve everything for you.
You know what? It didn't solve everything. So I ran around, and this is some footage of me running around. I got into a couple of different Zergs, both grabbing some hero points, events, and just trying to run around with a group. And I had some fun with that. It was okay. Again, very challenging parts to the game, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having to work hard to complete things. I still remember the first few fights with Dequaddle and trying to get through some of that high-level content in the original Guild Wars 2, and that's fun, and the challenge is not the problem. It was, again, like I mentioned before, I die going through. So I was able to do some hero point trains, I did some event trains and stuff like that, and I have to say, the one thing that blew me away the whole time was absolutely the beauty of these new maps. They're absolutely beautiful. The bouncing mushrooms and the gliders are great ways to travel across the jungle, and they do make things much, much easier, and it looks absolutely stunning as you're going into a new area. Maybe it's going into a fight, and you're coming in as a group of gliders, and everybody drops down and starts attacking right away. That's really cool. Those are hero moments, and that's one thing that Guild Wars 2 does very well, is providing those hero moments for players, and this expansion does that very, very well. I'm still just not clicking with it. I actually enjoyed the heart system and those sorts of events a lot more than I do the new event-only type of system that we see here. I have jumped into some adventures, and I enjoy those. Okay, but none of this stuff is making me want to jump back into the game, and so I think that Harry Hall really he explained my impressions of the community right now for those people like myself who maybe don't absolutely love this new expansion for Guild Wars 2.
It sounds to me, and this comes dangerously close to telling you you're playing it wrong, but it sounds to me that you are looking at the goal rather than at the game. You are trying to get to certain points rather than enjoying the game that's right in front of you. And that's a fault of the mastery system, because it becomes kind of this speed bump in the story. I agree with you, and it becomes this goal to work towards. But all it actually is giving you a reason to be in the dynamic environment. And if you don't enjoy Guild Wars 2, and I think you just don't like the game enough, Chris, I think you are just a Guild Wars 2 hater, then there's no saving you.
All jokes aside, I do have to say that I think that Heart of Thorns is an absolutely stunning expansion. I think that it is a great addition for those really regular Guild Wars 2 players who enjoyed the crap out of the base game, and I think all those free-to-play players who are going to go through, if they do get all the way up to 80, they are going to want to jump into this content and pay for it, because I do think it is worthwhile for the majority of the community. If, however, you are someone in the community like me who maybe didn't absolutely love it and took a big long break because doing the repetitive stuff in Guild Wars 2 or going through or South Sun Cove, whatever you were doing in the game, if you just didn't click with that, you are not going to click with this content. So I don't know if I would put down money on this if I was in that position. So you know, if you really enjoyed the base game, if you liked the events and the way that those ore events, all those big events happened in the zone, you are going to love this content. If you didn't, nothing's going to change. Nothing that is new in here is going to make you love the game if you didn't before. If, however, you are a PvPer and you didn't necessarily love the way in which PvP was structured, the SPvP was structured in Guild Wars, you are going to love Strongholds. They are my passion. I absolutely adore them, and I do want to jump back into game and play those. It takes almost all of my willpower not to stop doing all of the jungle stuff and just jump into Heart of the Mists and do the Strongholds and queue up for Strongholds. That being said, ArenaNet, it'd be really, really nice if I could do both. I could be running through the jungle stuff and queue for Strongholds. Why am I being forced still to go and sit around and wait and do absolutely nothing while I wait for the next match to pop? That is absolutely unacceptable in this day and age, and I think that is something that should be changed immediately. To top it all off, the Revenant is an amazing class. This is my new main, and I haven't even touched any of the new content on any other class because I'm loving this so much. I did use some Tomes of Knowledge. I bumped myself up and got all the way up to 80 right away, so I've only experienced the new content with my Revenant. I did go a little bit with my Warrior, got through the starter areas, but the Revenant is absolutely fantastic. I find it, for me, I play it in such a way that with the hammer, I can do some range stuff. The Herald spec is fantastic. Love that. And doing sword and shield for that. And then I also find sometimes in Strongholds, if I want to go really DPS, if I go axe offhand and sword main hand, I'm quite capable at dishing out some pretty great DPS. And they did a fantastic job of making a class in the Revenant that is a perfect fit in the Guild Wars universe. So well done, ArenaNet, on that. Overall, like I've mentioned a few times before here, there's different things that might pull you back in if you haven't been a Guild Wars 2 player for a very long time and you didn't necessarily love it. If, however, you really loved those events at the end of the game and found that that's what you want to be playing all the time, you should definitely check out Heart of Thorns. It's something that you should be playing right now because it is an absolutely fantastic expansion. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this video, but most importantly, I hope to see you in game. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOReporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOReporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.